Hello everyone. Today we are here again with another topic in physics with the subject mechanics and general properties of matter. Today the talk will be about concept of scalar and vector field. I am Dr. Abhinav Bhargav, working currently as assistant professor in Department of Science, the Bhopal School of Social Sciences, Bhopal. So we have well known about the scalar and vector quantities since our early classes, and we know the definition so well. But when the question comes about the scalar field and vector field, there are some questions which arise in your mind, and I am here to address those questions today. So let us start with the physical quantities first. Physical quantities? Yes, scalar quantity, vector quantity, they together are known as physical quantity. So let us define in a short manner what do we understand by physical quantities. So if we talk about physical quantities has a definition: anything, any quantity is defined as a property that can be measured and described by a numerical value and a unit associated with it. And we can say that this is the most basic component of the entire science. Yes, science. Science, the word means to know. And to know the science, we need a measurement system. When we talk about the measurement system, we always have to measure those physical quantities with a magnitude as well as a unit. This unit comes under the unit system which we use to describe the properties of the measurement. Moving ahead, we have three classes of physical quantities. Those are scalar, vector, tensor. Let us leave that tensor for later. Why? Because tensor is little bit complex. However, it is generalized to all the physical quantities, whether it is scalar or vector. But let us talk about the scalar quantities first. So the basic definition of scalar quantity is that those quantities which are expressed by their magnitudes only are known as scalar quantities. So we need a numerical value and a unit to justify its value. That is what we name it as scalar quantity. As you can see here in the diagram, we have a box which is moving. It is moving up to a distance of 1 meter. 1 meter. 1 is here the magnitude, meter is here the unit. Another example, one of my friend is taking a placard and denoting that 5 meters long. Right? This friend is going to be our companion for the definition of vector quantities also. Here 5 is the magnitude and meter is the unit. So I think it is quite clear with the scalar quantities. For example, distance. For example, speed. These all are the example of scalar quantities, like length, like temperature of any body. These are the scalar examples. Let us now talk about the vector quantities. So let us talk about the basic definition first. Vector quantities are those quantities, physical quantities, which have magnitude as well as we express them with the help of the direction. Yes, direction is the addition in vector quantities that is going to define the vector quantities systematically. So they are expressed as numerical value with suitable unit and direction jointly. We have studied it a lot of times. Let us talk about the vector quantities. The examples are quite simple. Velocity, displacement, and all other things like force, they all are defined in a particular direction. That's why they are named as vector quantities. Here our companion is again telling us what is the vector quantity. It is 5 meters east. So 5 is the magnitude, meters is the unit, and east is the direction where our companion is taking us. Let's move ahead. Now we are going to talk about the fields associated them. But here we need to understand what we know about the field or how we are going to define the field. So let us talk about what is field. So here we have a basic definition: the region in which physical quantity takes different values at different points is called field. For an example, you are listening music on a speaker. Somebody is listening to the music nearby to the speaker and somebody is listening to the music after a while, or we can say at a distance from the speaker. So the person who is sitting at the place which is near to the speaker is listening the music loudly, but the person who is sitting away is hearing that music in a low noise. This speaker is creating its own field where one point will be able to hear that sound in one measurement, and that's why we can say that the speaker is able to create a field of sound. In a similar way, here we are going to talk about the two fields, that are scalar field and vector fields. But to understand them, we have certain examples of scalar field and vector field jointly. Now you know when there is a charge kept in a space, it creates its own field, and that is known as electrostatic field. You can see the examples of electrostatic field from a unit charge. You can see the lines of electrostatic force and electric field using a dipole, and we have the flux also passing through a surface. We can say that due to the different values at different points, it is called a function of position or point function. Very simple to understand. We have different positions in different places in a field, and when we define a physical quantity for that particular point, that is known as point function, or when we define a physical quantity which is a function of that position, is called physical quantity associated field. I think the definition of field is enough for you. Let us now come to the main topic of today's talk. We will be talking about scalar field and vector field. So we have two classes on which we have divided the physical quantities also. In the same way, we are dividing the fields into scalar fields and vector fields. So number one is scalar field, another is vector field. Let us talk about what is scalar field. In very simple layman language, the definition is the field associated with a scalar quantity is called scalar field. So you have a scalar quantity, and we will talk about the examples also. Around that scalar quantity, there is a region where you can define the physical quantity at different points. That region is actually the scalar field. Let us talk about certain more detail about this. Or we have another definition for this. The another definition is, if a scalar quantity is expressed as a continuous scalar function of position phi in terms of x, y, z coordinates, which are also known as Cartesian coordinates, which is given for a particular region, then we can say that there exists a scalar field. So what we are taking as an instrument? We are taking a position quantity. Let us take that position quantity here as phi. Here phi is a function of three-dimensional coordinates x, y and z, and those coordinates are used to express any position we know in any place. Let's talk further. We have some more examples. The example are distribution of temperature in a medium. Yes, temperature is a scalar quantity. So where there is temperature, we can say that temperature is scalar quantity, and the field where you can experience that temperature is scalar field. Another example, we can talk about the electrostatic potential also. That is also spread in a field. When we experience a change in the work done, we can say that there is some work going on inside that field. So the quantity scalar here is potential, and the field associated with is scalar field, that is vector field. That is potential field. Moving ahead, we have another certain examples which will be helping you to understand the scalar fields. Let us talk about one more simple example. If one end of rod is heated and another one is cooled down, I am saying simple. We have a rod, let us heat it on one end, let us cool down it on another end. So when you will be experiencing the variation of temperature in that rod, you will be experiencing that the rod has divided itself in small surfaces. These surfaces are actually isothermal surfaces. That means if we take a disc out of that rod, on that disc there is particular value of temperature. Let us consider the first surface which we have taken is S1, and the temperature at this surface is 60 degree. So this 60-degree temperature will be same for all the points around that circular disc inside that rod. If we move ahead, if we move to the surface S2, here we can see that the temperature is now 40 degree. Since we are moving towards the colder region of the rod, that means the temperature will decrease. But at the same time, at that particular surface S2, or we can say the circular disc, the temperature is same for all the points, all the functions existing on that surface. That's why we name that surfaces as isothermal surface. Here this surface is the perfect example of scalar field. So let us define that once again. Here S1 and S2 are isothermal surfaces. Since temperature is a scalar quantity, thus these surfaces are called as scalar fields. So that is the perfect example of scalar field. I can say it in a very layman manner also. Let us talk about there is something which is heated up. When you go nearby that place, you can feel the heat of that particular place. And that field which is associated with the heated substance is known as scalar field. Here in this rod, we are ejecting so many circular discs having each disc at a different temperatures. Maybe they will be same, but if we move ahead a little bit, the temperatures will be different for different circular disc, but at the entire disc, the surface will be same. That is what we can simply tell it as scalar quantity and scalar field. Let us move ahead to vector field. Let us define it. So vector field is something which is quite similar to scalar field. Vector field is actually the field associated with a vector quantity, but here is the perfect definition. If a vector quantity is expressed as a continuous function of position, then there is said that there exists a vector field. So here also we are taking position, but we are talking about the vector function of position. When we are talking about the vector function of position, that means we are also going to define in which direction. Let us, to understand this, we have another example, and that example is quite common with our livelihood. Let us talk about a pipe which is narrow at certain end and which is wider at certain end. So let us see what it is. When the water is flowing through this pipe, wherever the regions are narrow, it speeds up. That means if we measure the quantity of velocity, that is a vector quantity, at any particular point, it will be different. As you can see, the length of the vector here, is different. What it means if the length is different of a vector? It means the magnitude is higher. So as we can see that here the magnitude is small since it is a wider space, but as the water is or any type of liquid is flowing through a narrow place, it behaves like its speed is increasing. So when its speed increases, the vector magnitude increases, and when it comes out again in the wider space, its vector quantity velocity is again normal as it was before. Here the vector quantity velocity is continuously changing with the position, as well as the direction is also being changed as it is moving from one point to another. The field associated with this vector quantity is known as vector field, and we can say that it is to be noted that generally a vector changes from one point to another. So in a very simple manner, we can say that the field associated with a scalar quantity, which can be a function of its position, is known as scalar field, and a field that is measured as a vector function of its position, that means we need to define the direction, then the associated quantity is known as vector field. For scalar field, we have taken a very simple example of a rod which is heated at one end and cold at another end, and we can eject out some discs which are having the entire disc as the same temperature, naming those surfaces isothermal surfaces, and the field at that isothermal surface is called scalar field. Another example for vector field is that we have a pipe which is narrow at certain points and wider at certain points. When a fluid or a liquid is flowing through that pipe, it has different value of velocities at different points. As the pipe gets narrower, the direction of the vector changes and the vector field changes. Hence, this is the talk for today. We have discussed how scalar field and vector field work with the quantities of scalar and vector. So, this is Dr. Abhinav Bhargav from Department of Science, the Bhopal School of Social Sciences. Signing off for today. We will meet again, and we should have an energetic thank you towards all the people.